Hello and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup Podcast, episode 157. I'm your host, Tommy, joined by John.
How's it going?
It's early in the morning on a Sunday. We got some Magic to talk about. We got some Pokemans to talk about. We got some Flesh and Blood to talk about. And do we have economics to talk about? Do we want to?
Yeah, we can talk about a few things.
Okay.
Some data. I forgot to update the little chart thing, but it's fine.
That's okay. We don't have to. We can take a week off at economics. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Well, we could do that too. Let's see how the time.
I mean, if you have something, I always love to listen, but it's hard to pay attention right now. Yeah. So we always start with what we played. This will be quick this week because only I played the Magics. I did some Duskmorn quick draft, still getting my butt kicked, but did have 1-5 win run on blue-green. So your method of blue-green
it's fantastic.
It's really good. It's fun.
Simic is good.
Yep.
Is this the thing where if you win, was it all 6 or 7 or whatever, you get like money and stuff?
No.
Oh, okay. That's like
this is just quick draft. That is going on right now with Duskmorn. It is if you win, I forget if it's 6 or 7. And it's 5,000 gems to enter. You get 2 play boxes.
And money?
No.
I thought I saw someone posted it said they won $1,000.
That was a different event.
Oh, that was a very specific event?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just play boxes if you win.
That's basically the pro circuit thing that they're trying to do through Arena.
Got it. Okay.
I think it's like a PTI, essentially, a Pro Tour invite.
Sure. Makes sense.
So maybe that $1,000 is used to travel and get there, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Not the path I'm looking to take.
That's a lot more grinding than you probably want.
Yes, I am here for the fun. But one thing I've noticed is there's a lot more attention on standard.
Like what?
So I've been listing my cards and putting up a bunch of Magic. And I was shocked at some of the standard card prices. Like, it's expensive to build a standard deck now.
I mean, it's pretty much always been the case, isn't it?
I think these are a little higher. They're selling real fast. Like, I'll put things up in market price and they'll be gone.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
I think, and what I've noticed when watching other content creators, when they're referencing a card spiking, they'll reference that it's being played heavily in standard. And that is a thing that I have only heard recently. Standard being a reason for card sales is fairly new to me. And I've been listening to Magic content creators for a long time.
Got it.
So I really do think that standard is picking up steam. And I don't think the market, here's my hot take. I don't think the market was ready for standard to be a thing. Because with Commander being such a big thing, people only need one of, right? In standard, usually they're buying 4 ofs.
Yes. Yeah. Same with all the other sets too. Like I've definitely noticed it in modern changes and stuff like that.
So if the card is not just good in standard, but is good in Commander and is good in modern and is good in other formats, then that just broadens the demand, especially when you add in the 4 copy formats.
Yeah. I'm not convinced that that's new.
No, but I have noticed it's a newer trend of people referencing standard as a reason.
That's fair. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Standard and actually modern kind of got my attention for about 10 seconds.
Yeah. See, what I like about standard is it's what I can play on Arena.
Well, that's actually what I was looking at with Modern. I was like, can I play Modern on Arena? Because
No.
that sounds like it would be worth doing. Like
No.
I'm tempted, if it was available, I would be tempted to actually do that.
I think you can do Pioneer.
No, apparently nothing is available except for standard for real. There's like a
There's
semi,
versions, yeah.
yeah, exactly, the
Semi-complete
historic or
versions.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like I said, I was googling it. I was like, I wonder if I can play any of the older formats, and the
You can
answer
play
is
it on
basically
MTGO.
no. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone was saying, because everyone's like, it's not going to happen. And then a lot of people were like, that's what they said at MTGO, and now even Pioneer's available there. So it's like maybe eventually it will happen, but it's not there yet, which is fine.
Yeah.
Need to waste money on that.
No. I mean, I haven't spent $1 on Arena since I came back.
Yeah, good for you. That's not how I'd do it. I'd go and craft decks immediately and be like, I want the best deck. It's going to cost me. I don't care.
Well, now I want the best deck. I can just craft it.
Oh, because you built up enough of the points or whatever. Gotcha.
And through drafting.
Yeah, I don't have the patience for all that.
It took a long time to get there. But
yeah.
And I could probably only do it for 2 or 3 decks, and then I'd be at nothing again.
Yeah.
Especially because I drafted so much Boombro in Foundations.
Yeah. So I will tell you. So here's another thing. I was looking at Steam Decks because I keep seeing different games. It's like, oh, this works on Steam Deck. This works on Steam Deck. And I was like, I kind of want a Steam Deck. And one of the things I looked for to see if it would be worth getting was, does MTG Arena work on there? And the answer is yes.
Interesting.
So, yeah, and so it's like, dang it, maybe I end up doing that, and that's just my like fiddle time, you know what I mean, game.
And not an iPad? I play on my iPad and love it.
Yeah, because I think it'll be a little more portable, and frankly, I don't really need an iPad. I have multiple iPads.
Yeah.
But
they're all the iPad Mini.
They all go out of date too fast. Like the Steam Deck, they're specifically saying they're not trying to release a new one every year.
That's good. The Switch 2 is coming out. See the Switch 2 get announced?
Yeah, I did see that.
That's exciting.
I enjoyed my Switch for when I used it. This is where
it's
my
also
line is,
just
because I was like, I had a Switch, I played it a little bit, and then I stopped, and it's just sitting on the shelf, and I never even think to pick it up. And I was like, is that what Steam Deck's going to be? And the answer is probably yes.
Yes.
That's why I'm like, oh, I shouldn't even bother doing it.
Yes, it will be. But you travel enough, so maybe not. But when you're home, it will absolutely be. And you have access to your computer games.
Travel too.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be doing a lot more work stuff. We're like doing return to office and all this nonsense. And
yeah,
I'm the boss now, I guess. So I got to go in more.
So you need your Game Deck, Steam Deck.
Yeah, it's like
boss needs a Steam Deck. No.
Yeah. It might be worth it. I don't know.
I think you would get use out of it, but.
Play Arena.
Yeah, it's
that
hard.
Would get me back into standard.
Then you should get it. You should get it.
For sure.
No, I've been enjoying it, and it'd be fun to play again. I enjoyed when we used to play together.
Yeah.
And then we could even draft, and then just save your draft deck, and then we can play our draft decks against each other.
Oh, I was just like, can you actually draft together? I see.
No, but you do your draft. I do my draft, so it's not the same. We're not looking from the same pools, but. It's both.
Yeah. I get it.
Close enough.
So one of the things that drew me as a potential to this was this article about is control back in standard.
Yeah.
So is control back in standard, Tommy? You play standard. You should know.
Yeah, I think so.
Celestia, I guess it was. White green.
I mean, it is certainly less common than aggro.
Of course.
Or mono black.
Easy mode.
There's a couple forms of control though. Mm-hmm. There's one that's like bouncing everything. I think it's with the pixies. And then there's mono white life gain, and where you create so much life that your opponent just eventually dies.
Yeah, it's just a white weenie deck.
Yeah. No. There's some. There are weenies, but it's not all weenies.
Gotcha.
There's a white token deck that's the white weenie deck. There's two mono white decks right now. They both share some cards, but one is focused around life gain, and the other is focused around making a ton of rabbits.
Mm. Well, this has Carrot Cake and Caretaker's Talent, which is a rabbit card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, rabbit cards are prevalent everywhere.
Yeah,
but
so much value in rabbits.
Mm-hmm. They multiply. Yeah, I mean, last week I took a dive and tried out 3 or 4 different standard decks and enjoyed all of them. I mean, I didn't play them enough to be like, oh, I like this deck, because I was switching around so often. But I just wanted to play a couple games in my opponent's shoes, because it's still standard. You still see the same decks over and over and over and over. So basically,
standard works.
Yeah. Which I like. There is what I'm looking for right there. Mm-hmm. And so just playing the decks your opponents are playing helps you read their hand and what they may have and what they can do with their open mana and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I can just be like, if I was in this situation, how could I get out of it with this deck? And if you don't see an answer, swing away. Yeah, still been enjoying the mono red, the mono, I did enjoy both versions of the mono white control. And I think I prefer the life gain over the token, just because I can get fixated on that and forget about winning the game sometimes, and just end with like 60, 70 life at the end of the game, which is kind of fun. But then there are things that keep that in check, like that the Shredder card from Dustmorn that cuts your life in half. So like there are answers, right? So that's what I kind of like about standard right now, is like all of the decks have an answer. There's no unanswered deck.
Yeah.
And like the mono red, you have to hope like that the 3/3 haste, that if it's dealt damage, it deals damage to any target. If that target is a player, they can't heal the rest of the game. So like there's answers to everything, and you basically either have to let that swing and let that hit you for 3 every turn, or you kill it without doing damage to it. So you entrap it in an enchantment, or you exile it, or like there are ways to do it, but there are the wrong ways to do it as well. And you have to have those answers in your deck, which is what I really like. And just, I think it sets up and the cards are pretty obvious as well, like what counters what.
Yeah.
And so
easy I think aggro, complex to manage correctly.
Yes, easy to learn, hard to master.
But it's also the, like, what do they call it, the gatekeeper, if you will. Like, if you can't beat an aggro deck, then you're not ready for the ladder.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. I'm not taking it too seriously. I'm just playing when I can. Been really busy with the store. I've been having like 30 sales a day.
Yes, that's awesome when you get to that tier.
Yeah.
It's nutty. It burned me out.
Once
after a while, I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. This is too many.
Yeah, I increased my floor price, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. I had it at a lot.
Yeah, I had it at 20, and then I got a 140 card order the other day, and I was just like, I don't want to. And it was all like the most expensive card was like 33 cents. I was just like,
Yep. Not my favorite.
Not great. But the inventory numbers are going up, which is super exciting. Crossed over 17,000 last night.
That's awesome. It's a lot of cards.
Mm-hmm.
I think mine's still in the 10,000 range. I don't remember. Like somewhere between 10 and 12, I imagine.
It's a lot to manage.
Mine are all at this point penny cards.
Yeah, a lot of mine are.
It's a little bit easier than when you have a good mix of stuff, because you'll get those big orders.
Yeah.
But like a lot of mine is kind of the drudgery, the leftovers, the whatever from when I did sell a bunch like you are doing now. It's just the stuff that didn't sell, basically. So a lot of them are worth like 1 to 10 cents, and I have them listed for 25. So they rarely.
Yeah.
It's a much more manageable pace. I like it at this pace.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there was one day I think I had 64 orders, and I was just like, yeah,
Yep.
no.
They like that.
Like that was my evening.
Yeah, it burnt me out. I was like, I can't do this. This is too
Yeah.
much. It was great as a COVID hobby, but after a
Yes.
while,
Yeah.
it's like it was too much.
Yeah. So just trying to keep and find that balance.
Yeah, it's fun though.
Oh,
Good thing.
absolutely. I'm enjoying it a ton.
So, what do you think of this new Innistrad stuff? We got some fancy cards selling on eBay. We
Mm-hmm.
got some more realistic prices because I guess box. It's like the release date happened, right? And the
Yes.
box
So now
hitting,
anyone can list boxes.
yeah, hitting stuff. So, what are your thoughts on the Innistrad situation?
I think from the collector standpoint or the
Whatever.
okay.
Let's just follow up on last week because last
Yeah.
week we're like, it hasn't released yet. Let's revisit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I haven't gotten to draft it yet, but I'm very excited to do that. I was tempted to go to an event, and then I remembered how expensive events are, and that I would have to actually go out and talk to people. And then,
So they had that sale at 154 for play boxes.
yeah,
And then after that, it hopped to 170, and it looks like it's still in that range post release.
yeah, because there's a lot of it. But if you look at,
You're saying allocations are gone now, though?
yes, so I was looking at. Let's see if it came back, just so we're not.
Yeah, because I think there usually is this. Well, these days in the more modern era, I guess Play Boost era, it seems like there's a sellout immediately at the release, and then
So there is. Let me see here. Yeah, so one distro has them available. It looks like, but the collector boxes are limited to 3.
Oh, the fact that they even have collector boxes is actually more promising than I would have thought.
A store can order 3 boxes and are limited to just that one order of 3. So the distro's not even selling them 6-pack cases.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised they even have any.
Well, they probably, yeah. Or
probably
people
held some back. Yeah, they probably did.
Yeah. But the other thing is they're also limiting the play boosters. You can only get
that is interesting.
You can only get 2 of those. And the price would be, I don't know. I think the 170 is still a fair price for this box.
I'll reserve judgment till we play, but I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
It does seem like it's a relatively limited product. It does sound like it's a good time based on what people have said.
Mm-hmm.
If all that holds true, then 170 is probably a reasonable price. Now, on the actual card value, I'm guessing you're overpaying on the box.
Like yeah. Box oh, yeah. 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 No, I'm talking about it like if it's a box on the shelf. Just because I don't think it. I mean, I've never seen a play box go this quickly. And just like no other places. It's just the one, and they're limiting it.
Oh,
to
you
2.
mean like sell out this quickly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. That is new in our experience. I think it happened back sometime around or the Spark era.
Oh, wasn't that
it's one of the sets back then.
Time Spiral?
Similar.
Master.
That's it. Yeah, just like it. I don't know. They pulled it or something. Rudy talks about it.
Yeah.
It was before my time, so I don't actually know.
But those were draft boosters. These are play boosters, and I think play boosters. It is a big difference, especially with the value, because you can get the poster cards, I believe, in the play booster, just not in foil.
Oh, yeah. The poster cards, not the serialized ones. Those are only in the collector.
There's only one serialized.
Yeah, that's true. So you can. Okay, I'm not sure.
But yeah, it's on the serialized is only in the collector.
It does make sense though.
But yeah, you can get the retro frames, in the play boosters. You can get the Edgar Markov special treatment in the play boosters. No, you can't get. I'm sorry, you can't get the poster in the play. They're in collector only.
Got it.
But you
There's
can.
some cool looking ones too. I was just flipping through.
Yeah, you can get the borderless, and you can get the showcase frames, which look pretty sweet. They're like fang looking.
Showcase. I'm not seeing any showcase frames.
I'll send you one.
But the Emrakul in the poster looks pretty cool. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's actually very similar to the Crimson Vow border.
Yeah.
Got it. The Hermit Druid. I was surprised about that one.
Yeah.
That in the poster style. That's pretty cool.
I like that one a lot. But yeah, I think when it comes to collectors, I mean, I think there still will be a lot of valuable cards in the play booster, so I wouldn't just disown that, especially because of the retro frames. Will do well. The showcase maybe not so much, but
It's funny how that's happened. Like, I remember retro being like vomited on.
Mm-hmm. I don't like it personally.
Yeah, I was gonna say it used to be like, I think when we first started, they had a few retro here and there, and everyone's like, "Oh, these are horrible." Now people are like trying to make retro only decks.
Yeah. So Okay. So here the only difference there's 3 differences between the play booster and the collector booster, and there's those only the play booster box and the collector box are the only products for the set. And the only differences are there's obviously none of the serialized Markovs, no movie posters, and the retro frames are non-foil only. So the foil retro frames are only in collectors.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely managed to make that a thing. From being hated to being desired. I assume it's still desired. I think it is, just based on when I was selling Brothers War, because that has a lot of the retro artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did in that one. So, and they freaking sold. Except for the really terrible ones.
Yeah. But I think the collector boxes will do well, just out of a scarcity factor, and there are a lot of playable, desirable cards in this. And with, like, yes, I think it'll be interesting to look at it in like a month, because where are the singles at? Like, was it too much for the market, these reprints, or was it not enough?
That's another interesting.
Like, how long till that stuff's gone?
Yeah,
because like everyone's gonna rush put everything up, like stores and stuff, and then, but there's nothing behind it to keep that inventory up.
Yeah, which means even the things that got reprinted that people are like, "Oh, the equity value's down." It's like,
how far down does it go? And how long is it down?
Yeah,
because they're still gonna, a month or two from now, typically, the card is still gonna be desired. The card is still gonna be needed.
I mean, I know Craterhoof will.
Yeah.
Like a green finisher in every possible green deck. Yeah, you know what? I'm not even sure how much it's going to have an impact. Just looking at Craterhoof.
Yeah.
The only version is only one version from this. Interesting.
I think it's only the retro frame.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, so there's only the one version, and it's going for 22 right now. Let's say it drops a little bit from overwhelmed supply. Say it drops to like 15 or even 10. I don't see that affecting these prices unless I'm very wrong and it stays there for a much longer time than expected.
Well, I mean, granted, how often does that go in a deck? In a commander deck?
Time.
Exactly.
All the time. It's commander, it's green. And it will be the cheapest version, so I assume.
For now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But isn't that the first time it's been in retro frame?
Yeah, it is. So that's actually an interesting like boost in its value. That's why I was like, oh, interesting. Like it kind of threw me off. I was like, oh, my theory kind of needs to be tweaked here because it's the only retro frame,
Mm-hmm.
and if people are into that, then that will keep it boosted a bit.
And the retro frame Liliana of the Veil,
Is
the
that the only one that
Planeswalker.
does?
Mm-hmm. It's a Planeswalker in retro frame.
Hmm. You can see that in the first few pages.
Yeah, you do. You probably just
I
skipped
didn't.
over
I
it.
didn't. Yeah, it's black. Who needs black cards?
And it doesn't look like a Planeswalker.
Oh, weird. I
Yeah.
do not like that. I did
Yeah.
not. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I am not a fan. That is it. True to the word, it is very retro looking because that is they had cards that were like modality cards or whatever back in the day
Mm-hmm.
that were written real blocks of text
Mm-hmm.
before they started doing the choose one and making it pretty obvious what you had to do here.
But I mean, this card's in standard, so this will help standard as well. And this is played in every black deck. So
But this set doesn't come into standard, right?
no, no. But you can
Just
use
make
this version because the card is legal in standard. You can use any version.
sure, yeah, as long as it's in one of the standard sets, right?
Yeah, as long as it's in a current standard set, you can play other versions of that card.
Where's this one? Do you know what set it comes from? The Liliana.
Isn't it Dominaria
Was it? I couldn't remember. I know it was a little while ago. I just couldn't remember
United?
when it
I
came
think
through.
it's leaving soon. Let's see. Yeah, it's Dominaria United. So yeah, it's leaving in the next rotation.
Gotcha.
So it'll be gone by the end of the year. So it's not that big a deal for standard.
Well, I'm looking forward to opening my collector box. I will report back as to what I feel, how it feels to open it. Hopefully, I pull a giant, super expensive serialized card. Speaking of,
You can get $3.5 grand for it right now.
apparently that is what they are selling for on eBay, with the actual sold at 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
There's still boxes you can find around 300 if you look for them. But I think we have a week. I think people have a week to pick up collectors and then maybe a month or two to pick up play because I think those will
Yeah,
move slower.
that sounds right. Sounds fair.
Now it may not be at the prices they're at now for play. But and if the price of the Markov does the price of the Markov go up or down? And then so here's a weird serialized thing because this is the first time we've had 500 of one card, right?
No, definitely not.
No, like that being the only like there's
Oh,
only 500 in the set.
I see what you mean. Maybe I feel like there's one other that had that. Wasn't Karloff Manor like that? Wasn't there one in there or
I
something?
think
That
there were
is one
more
of
than
the.
one.
Was there? Okay. I thought we did this one other time. I could be wrong. It's fine.
Yeah, but the um, oh, where was I going with that?
Does the price go up or down?
Does the price go up or down on the card or the boxes when because we see more and more listed? Like I've seen I've seen at least like 7 numbers, different ones being pulled.
Yeah.
So as the amount still in boxes decreases, what happens to the box? Like we know with the Lord of the Rings, the first one, it dipped when the One Ring was pulled, but then it went right back up.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think this has minimal, but not zero effect, but but will be minimal effect on box prices at least in the near term. Because basically, it's so rare, people are gonna mentally price that in of I'm never gonna get this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that was from the get go.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So over time, it will become, well, there's a potential serialized card in there.
Mm-hmm,
It's
mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. But I think we see the the no one cares is the first reaction. Now, I think that does change if every sale of that card is in the $3,000 range. If every like, I don't expect this to hold up because this is a pre-sale. 3.5 as a pre-sale, like we've seen this before. Like this is
the eBay confirmed or 3,500. There's 1, 2.
It's crazy.
And there's 3 sold on eBay at 3,500, and then there's one that sold at 335.
I was gonna say, and we've seen this before, and typically the price crashes immediately after.
Yeah.
And then it will go back up. And the question is, where does it land, and how high is the low? You know what I mean? Like, how far does it crash? Does it crash down to sub 1,000? I think it's possible, but I don't think it's
curious
likely.
So which ones are you referring to? Like before?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I just know I've watched this happen before. I think it was probably the ones that were like the lands. Didn't the shock lands come out? They were like super
Ravnica.
spiked. I'm trying to think what else. None of them were quite at this scale. Oh, I know. Some of the Phyrexians, I think when they first came out.
In March Machine.
The Elish Norn was like $2,000 or something, and it dropped down to 1,000. Ulamog is another one that was $2,000 or $3,000. Actually, hold up. This is right here. Let's see if there's not enough data. Dang it. I hate when that happens. Yeah, there's been like no sales, so I don't know what the history on that one was. Let me know in the comments if you know. This is out of 250, so it's a smaller set.
But there's more of them. Isn't there 3 of them or 4 of them?
Maybe like 2.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that though. So anyways, point is there have been a few that have spiked like this. Generally speaking, they drop afterwards. Not always though. Like Balin's Tomb or whatever, right? That one was pretty fancy. Everyone loved that. So that's Ancient Tomb in dwarf format.
Oh, there's 5.
5 what?
In March of the Machine.
March of the Machine has more than 5.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
The Praetors have 5. There's 5 Praetors.
Oh yeah, the Praetors, there's 5.
Yeah.
It's the 5 lords or whatever they call them. The 5. Yeah. But then Modern Horizons had the Eldrazi.
Yes.
It has Ulamog. I don't remember if it had Emrakul on that or not as a serialized card. I think there is a serialized one, but I'm not sure where that came out.
Yeah, it's MH3.
Okay, so there's probably 3 then, because there's usually 3 of the big.
2,300. Ulamog's 2,500.
You mean 250? Or you're saying the price?
2,500.
Is the price?
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, because there's only 250 of them. There's less.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it comes down. I don't know how much. It'll be interesting to see where the floor is. Could it be under 1,000? I think it's possible because we've seen this like pre-sale hype before, like out of control.
Here's the question though. Does it add more value to Edgar opposed to all these other ones that you've mentioned? Because it is a very popular commander and doesn't go in your 100 cards. And it can sit out there graded. Opposed to like an Ulamog that's probably in your deck. Like does it being your commander and a very good and popular commander matter as a serialized card? Because you have all these.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like it's pulling on heartstrings of Edgar commander players.
Yeah, for a different reason. Yeah.
And I bet you there's more than 500 of them that would like one of these.
But that's a hugely overpriced card, in my opinion. We have a lot of... You know what this is? That it's like a perfect design of? It's a great way to get people excited about serial cards again.
Yeah.
By making it rare, making it high demand type of card, because Edgar, you're right, is very popular like Commander. And then a specialized treatment that I would say looks pretty freaking good.
It's a gorgeous card.
Yeah, it's a cool card. It's not like your freaking poster art for stupid Lord of the Rings. Those serialized cards, which also sell for ridiculous amounts, are ugly as hell. I don't care. You cannot convince me. I hate
some of them. I like the Tom Bombadil.
You can like it just because you like Tom Bombadil. The art is still impossible to use as a card.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I agree.
That's what I don't like about it.
No, in this whole set, all of the poster cards in this set are a lot more readable.
Way more readable.
Yeah.
So anyways, I don't know.
Grizzlebrand's my favorite. It's like flying exclamation point.
Yeah, they do have some really cool like retro horror movie style. Like it fits really well with the card. Emrakul is another one that looks like just like the classic sci-fi poster. It's so good. So anyways, yeah, I think we see it drop. I don't know how much because you're right. It does have a premium by being a commander and being a popular card.
There are no non-serialized versions of that poster card.
Is that? Are you sure? I don't think that's true.
Find it.
I don't think that's true. I'm almost positive I saw it.
I don't see it.
Not seeing it either. You might be right. Oh, yeah, you're right. I think they just did the retro frame on it. They didn't do the.
Yes, there's the retro frame.
Yeah. Or it's not listed yet. It is TCG Player on release weekend. How many times have we seen them not list cards that are in the set?
Sure. No,
with Magic, it's very possible. Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh yeah, with Magic. I've definitely seen that multiple times because I've been selling the sets and not able to sell certain cards.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see if one pops up.
But
I'm not seeing there now.
You could be right. Yeah. You could be right.
But yeah, Hermit
almost
Druid I do really like.
Disappointing, honestly, because I think I wouldn't mind having that card in non-foil. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just to play it. Interesting. Oh, that adds to that premium value. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna make 0 cards valuable again. They've never really dropped that far.
No, but I mean, it's an interesting setup to do the 1 of 500, and they're doing the same thing in Aether Drift next.
What do you mean by that? What are they doing in that?
The Aether Spark.
It's the only one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't realize there was only one in that. Is that good? Do you like that
500?
Card?
I don't know. It's too confusing for me to understand.
Yeah, people were talking about that.
I'm not against it. I know people were angry about it, but there's going to be plenty of versions of it, so I'm not really worried about the price of the card. Although, it's just... So it's a legendary artifact Planeswalker equipment for 4. As long as the Aether Spark is attached to a creature, the Aether Spark can't be blocked, can't be attacked, and has whenever equipped creature deals combat damage during your turn, you may put that many loyalty counters on the Aether Spark. For 1, and it starts with 4 loyalty counters. +1, attach the Aether Spark to up to 1 target creature you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. You can -5 to draw 2 cards, and you can -10 to add 10 mana of any 1 color.
Sounds pretty good.
Seems pretty... I mean, the key thing that is showing the value to me is... 1, like that 10 seems like a lot, but if you put it on a big thing, and you can, each time you +1, you can put a +1 on it. And switch who you attach it to. But whenever it deals combat damage, you can get a ton of loyalty counters. Because you're gaining loyalty counters for how much that creature dealt damage. And the Aether Spark can't be targeted as a Planeswalker if it's attached to something.
You can never bring it down?
No, you can. There's artifact removal.
No, but you can't reduce the pips on it.
Correct.
In a normal fashion. Yeah, correct. That is actually pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Is there a non-serialized version, or is that the only version?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, my God, what have they done?
That's why I started this with. I'm not worried about the price of the card because there's the normal version, but there are a bunch of versions, and that's... So are we done with Innistrad? Do we want to move to...
Yeah. Move on to Aether Spark. That's fine. Or Aether
Drift.
Yeah.
The Aether Spark.
God, I hate TCG players sometimes.
Here's the link. That's P.
That's a weird thing to say into the mic, Tommy. There's P on me. You got P everywhere.
I hit Control V, and then there was just a letter P for some reason. I was like, cool. That's helpful. That's what I copied.
Yeah, got it.
104
already for the regular version.
Yeah, but I mean, we're what?
Oh, it's
Actually,
the Aether. That's why
it's
I couldn't.
the Aether Drift. Yeah.
I was putting Aether Spark, and I was like, it's not coming up at all. Oh yeah, there's multiple versions in this. This has the gold too.
Yep.
Is the gold the serialized one? I don't even see the serialized one. It's not listed, is it?
Probably not.
Well, there you go. There's an example of a card that's not out yet.
Well, yeah, but the set's not. It's not close to release day. We're like over 2 weeks out. Which is pretty crazy. Like Innistrad's not going to have much time in the shop to be drafted before Aether Drift drops.
Yeah, the timing on this calendar is a little weird. We commented on that before, like how tight this was to each other. So that might throw some stuff.
But also, the rest of the year, there's more space between things. So maybe it's something shops will just crack open and draft Innistrad or Mastered when they get bored of X set or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But also with the popularity of Standard growing, there's probably more enthusiasm to draft Standard sets, so the players have the Standard cards.
Yeah. Chrome Mox.
Chrome Mox is in this set as the special guest.
Now, am I correct in remembering that was something Rudy, like, quote unquote, predicted, emailed himself about?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he mentioned that don't worry about Chrome Mox. It's going to be reprinted in a future set.
Interesting.
Because that was the one they just unbanned, right? Or am I mixing those up? No, that was Pearl, wasn't it? Pearl? I might be mixing them up. I think I'm mixing things up.
Okay.
Don't mind me. Don't mind me, people.
Not that Chrome Mox is interesting because I mean you can get it in any product, right? You can get it in the Play Booster. You can get it in the collector. You can get it in the bundle. And then
can't get it in gold in all those sets.
No, you can't. You can only get it in gold in the box topper.
I hate the gold.
I think it's really cool.
That's because you're a Pokemon player.
Yeah. Well,
it's that Pokemon yellow. It's so ugly. I want to see it in person before I actually judge it. But all the videos I've seen, the foiling does not make up for that gross yellow color. Now, is it thematic? Yes, they did a good job. It fits the theme. Like, you got the checkered race flag. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, okay, it feels like it wants to go fast. That's the style. They did a good job with the art and all that stuff. I'm not a fan of that colored yellow in general, like anywhere in the world, period. You keep your lemon yellow to yourself, please.
Well, first place foils are only in the box toppers.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in collector boosters.
Not at all? None?
No. You cannot pull a gold Chrome Mox in a collector booster.
Interesting. Do we see play boxes hold higher value?
This is what I was talking about last night.
This is also the lesser PAX box, right?
Yes. This is what I was talking about last night, where I was like, I don't think we see play boxes dip.
Interesting.
Because they're getting rid of PAX, but if these gold cards do hold value, they're the only place you can get them.
Is this back to like a Kaladesh style? Because that was the cool thing about Kaladesh, was those box toppers with the special, I think it was the box topper with the special treatment, those special old school Kaladesh. It was essentially the first flashy cards.
Mm-hmm. And you get 2 cards. One's going to be one of the full art lands. And I think you have a 25% chance for it to be the scenic route. And then the other one, but the special guests can be in that other slot. So I just think the first place, I don't know. It'll depend on how the first place foils do. But if they do well, that's in addition to what we already know does well with the fractured foils. And there's a couple of fractured foils in this set as well.
Yeah, this is crazy looking at these yellow cards because Okay, so for example, I should just do a separate search on this. The borderless Chrome Mox first place foil is a special guest, but is it the only special guest in that gold foiling?
I think it may be the only one. No, all of them will be, I'm sure. I just don't think all of them have been shown off yet. We're not through spoiler season for it.
Oh, okay. That would make more sense then. Are we? How? If we're only 2 weeks out. Oh my god, yeah, they have some crazy stuff in here. Okay.
Yeah, if you go to the Scryfall link I sent you, I'll send it again, so it's at the top. These are all the cards that have been spoiled. I really like some of the showcase, the yellow ones, with the crazy art. I forget which showcase these are called.
Is it the cartoony looking ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the comic, almost comic style.
It's very much my style.
Like crazy Pokemon
anime fracture foils. Yeah.
Okay. I don't typically like those, although I'm looking at one that looks pretty cool. The Moo.
I was staring at the same one, and I was like, I wonder if this is the one.
That's a pretty good one. I will bend on that one. I don't typically like these, but that one I like.
The pilot mechanic is super interesting, I find. Have you heard about that yet?
Mm-mm.
So some of the some of these things create pilot tokens, and one of the characteristics of these pilots is, like on Moo, when this creature enters, you're creating a lot of 3/2 colorless vehicle artifact tokens with Crew 1, but they're 1/1 pilot tokens that can crew as if they had power greater than 2. So it starts as a 1/1, so it could crew 3 as a 1/1 token.
Yeah, they're just better vehicle drivers.
Yes.
Basically. Yeah.
They crew for more than their power. 2 more than their power. And some of the vehicles in this set are just nuts. There was a blue one.
I feel like this entire set just begs to be proliferated.
Yeah.
It's just like a proliferate is key on this set, even though it's not a mechanic, right? I haven't seen any cards with proliferate on them yet.
No.
But it just, the max speed, just like proliferate it. Forget
max speed seems super. Can you perflate max speed? I think you can only go up one. You can only go up speed once a turn on your turn.
Say that?
Yeah.
I gotta find it.
Because it's when you do damage on your turn, and only once a turn.
But it's a token, right?
Yeah, it's like
if it's a token, it can be proliferated.
Interesting.
Period. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a death touch token, and that can be proliferated too. Even though there's no point in having 2 of them.
Then this could be scary.
That's why I was like, this is just a set that says bring all your proliferate cards to these cards, right? Like work on their themes or whatever that are strong, and then bring all your proliferate to speed it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cards in here that as I was reading through, I'm like, that's going to be crazy in Commander.
I like this Merfolk vehicle thing. That's cool. Or wizard, I guess. It's not even a vehicle. Interesting.
Nope. Merfolk wizard. Mindspring Merfolk. Exhaust X, 2 blue. Draw X cards and put +1/+1 counters on each Merfolk creature you control. Activate each exhaust ability only once. So you can only do it once per game. But what's interesting about exhaust in blue is your ability to bounce it and then put it back, and then you can use the exhaust again.
Do it again.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, that was it.
I was just gonna say that Chandra Spark Hunter using the Akira slide, like that's so classic.
Mm-hmm.
I do like some of the Thopter art in this one too. I have like a weird, warm place in my heart for Thopters of all types. Like, it's so they're janky and silly, but I think it's because when I was a kid, they were like one of the ways we would play is like stupid Thopter stuff that would just make too many of them and all that stuff. And so it's just like one of those like I remember those from when I was a kid, even though they're not a thing really anymore. Like there are some, like I think an Urza deck does it, and there's a few Thopter crazy decks, but generally speaking, they're not the type of thing that they were. But anything with Thopters, I'm just like, oh, I like Thopters. The Ornithopter of Paradise, I was like, oh, they gave gave it a bird of paradise treatment. I love that. Oh.
Yeah.
It's a nothing
I forget
card,
if we talked about it last week or not, but the Sab Sunin, Luxa embodied, the frog god.
Yeah.
3 green blue. 6/6 legendary creature god, reach, trample, indestructible. It can't attack or block unless it has even number of counters on it. 0 is even. At the beginning of your first main phase, put a +1/+1 counter on Sab Sunin. Then, if it has an odd number of counters on it, draw 2 cards.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Everything's fine.
It's expensive, though.
5?
There's that. 5's kind
in
of
green blue?
I mean, you're right about that part. Kind of expensive. It's Froggy God. It's an indestructible Froggy God.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's fine. Simic. Just Simic things.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, here's one thing. It doesn't draw every turn automatically like most Simic commanders, so you got that going for you. Just every other turn it draws 2, so averages out to 1 a turn.
Great.
Just Simic things.
And in standard you can play 4 of them?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That. Well, no,
you can't have 4 out.
Yeah,
no, but if you remove one, another one can come back. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you're not going to need 4 because it's indestructible.
No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How's the curve on standard? Is it really shallow curve, or would like a 5 cost? Is that normal?
It depends on the deck.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I have 5 costs in my slower decks for sure.
Are they good decks though?
Yeah. The mono white life gain and the mono white tokens. Yeah. They have expensive cards. Or high value cards.
Well, that's cool.
I
don't like any of these Thopter fabricators, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
I thought I would, but I don't like the art on them.
Yeah, the art is very hit or miss in this set, I think.
I think I'd like the art with the elephant in it if the elephant wasn't in it. Because like the Thopter looks cool, but the elephant looks silly. It looks like it was pasted onto the picture.
Yeah.
And it's like, get rid of that, and that's a really cool looking card.
I just really like the pirate one that has the flavor text of Swab Poop Deck.
We'll have to see how this set does.
I think the power's there for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to mess standard up.
We talked about that. Like the power creepier is this stat?
I think it is.
Just going to be gross. Yeah. If it is, then they will have better sales than I think we were predicting on some of these sets. Because I thought we were like,
I thought this is going to do better than I thought.
Agreed. That's what I'm looking at too. Yeah.
Because the cards are there.
We shall see. There's nothing here that strikes me as like, oh my god, I'm gonna build a deck around that immediately. But that's happened before, where I'm like not really paying attention to spoil season, and then when it comes out, I'm like, oh man, did you see this?
Yeah, I mean we're not fully out yet, but I don't think.
Yeah, I did pre-order both the commander decks though. So
nice. We'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
I just want to get the. I really just wanted the energy one because I've been itching to build an energy.
That's a whole nother thing. Energy's getting more support.
Well, exactly. That's why it's like the energy pre-cons for the 3 sets was Modern Horizons 3, whatever the other one was, and then this one. You slam them together, have some pieces from each of them, plus some energy from old cards, which I do have a number of those, and I feel like I could probably create a fun energy deck.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on.
It's out on Valentine's Day, so we got 3 weeks.
Sounds about right.
So, should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. But, with the power creep thing, Morrow made a comment saying that he thinks Final Fantasy is going to be the most powerful set this year. Power-wise.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, then does Tarkir not be super powerful?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because that's in between. That's the one in between. And this is super powerful.
It'd be really funny if they basically shit on Tarkir again. All those years ago, everyone hated it because it was a very weak set for the time frame. If they're like, we're gonna bring it back and dump on it again,
We'll do it again.
make it another terrible set, so people really hate this plane forever.
Yep. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
You made a play this week that worked out.
I did.
And there's still a play available.
Yep. Pokemon. I went to the Pokemon Center because the cases there for what was left, Vivid Voltage and Battle Styles, was cheaper in the case form from the Pokemon Center, which you're guaranteed
in the individual
to get.
box form.
Yeah. Than it was on TCG Player. So essentially, you could buy it there and sell it on TCG Player and basically break even with fees, taxes, etc. Right?
Which is a good place to start.
That's a huge good place to start because usually it's a negative, you know, when you first buy it. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then immediately after, Vivid Voltage sold out of the Pokemon Center. So now it's gone up since then, which is good. And has room for more upside. It was basically do the math, like what's the downside, what's the upside, and the downside was basically break even, and the upside was wherever it goes, considering the Pokemon craze that we're seeing.
Yeah, and it is going to get silly this year.
Yeah, Battle Styles is still there, so if you think that's an interesting play, you should probably grab it before it's too late because it probably won't be there for very long, just based on how everything old is selling out.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you ready to hold it for 5 years, like we always say? If you're not ready to hold it for 5 years, don't do it. It's not quick tendies. It's not easy flip. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
I bought it with the mindset, like, if I have to flip it at a minor loss, I'll do it. If there's a reason I need to sell fast for some reason. But if I have to just hold on to it, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully that one works out. But similar to your, was it Wilds of Eldraine you bought right before out of stock everywhere. I was like, oh man, what a grab.
Yeah, Vivid Voltage is an interesting story because when it first came out, it was a $250 box. It was during like peak craziness. And then they printed it to the ground. And then it was held hostage by Pokemon Center's MSRP until this week. Where it just, that's kind of the floor, right? Like it can only go so much higher until other people notice that and just be like, oh, well, I can just get it here. But it doesn't look appealing until there are sales above X amount. Because the set itself, like, it's not one to crack and you can get crazy singles.
No.
There's nothing really crazy in it.
On the thing.
Yeah. Battle Styles, similarly, the difference is Battle Styles has more hits, but they're not as valuable.
I was going to say, because everyone hates Battle Styles, always has, as far as I've ever been aware.
Yeah. Yes, it is it's not the saddest child of Sword and Shield. I think that might be like Darkness Ablaze or...
Oh man, this has gone up. It's 1,200 now.
Mm-hmm.
From the 891 it was on Pokemon Center. That's crazy. Well, we'll see if Battle Styles follows suit. I think it will take longer.
I don't think it'll take much longer. Yeah.
It's a hated set of all that time frame.
Yeah. I mean, Vivid Voltage was too for a long time.
I don't remember Vivid Voltage. I always remember Battle Styles.
Well, because it came out much earlier.
Yeah, 1255, and that's a no star seller.
Yeah.
So like the first big is at 1270, and you can buy it right now on Pokemon Center for like $891 for a case. I think it's $891, something like that.
Yep.
So it's automatically, $300 gain essentially.
Yeah.
That is wild. That really shouldn't be the case.
No. That's weird.
It's not how that works, guys.
No. And it'd be different if it was like eBay or something, because eBay can do international, so maybe there's international demand. But it's not. It's TCG Player.
Yeah. And it's sold. Battle Styles case sold. One of them sold at $1,199. like a week ago.
That's kind of one of the reasons okay, here's an announcement. I'm out of Pokemon booster boxes.
Wow, you sold everything, huh?
Sold it all.
You're like, the bubble's in.
Yep. No, it's getting silly. And I got a bunch of messages like, this is a resealed box, because the price went down a little bit, because I sold like at the peak. For Fusion Strike and Silver Tempest and Paldea, and were the big ones. Brilliant Stars. And then the amount of messages I got of just like once it got there, because the price had come down, I don't know, like 10, 15 bucks. The amount of people trying to say that it was resealed was really frustrating. And the amount of times I had to go to TCG Player, and they were always just like, yep, no. We see this all the time.
Wow.
So it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where I don't know. I don't want to deal. Like, a case is different, I think, because it's like, here's the case.
Yeah.
But with individual boxes, I think there's a lot of sealed collectors, and they're looking for that perfect sealed Pokemon box, which very few actually are.
Yeah.
Like, even like, 'cause all of mine were pulled from brand new cases. Like, I pulled them from the case.
Yeah.
And the wrapping isn't great on most of them.
Yeah.
But it's not supposed to be. These are supposed to be ripped.
If you want it to be a nice sealed product, you go on eBay, so you have pictures of the actual box.
Exactly.
And you talk with the seller to make sure that's a picture of the actual box.
Yes, but they don't want to do that. They want to pay the cheaper price.
Because they know they'll have to pay more. Yeah, exactly. It's like, if you want a pristine box, you have to pay a pristine price.
Exactly.
How it freaking works, people. How many times have I talked about, like, if you buy it on TCG Player, you may have gotten the one that was drop kicked across the warehouse.
Yep.
Because that happens all the time.
Yep.
That's totally legit.
Yeah. But
that's unfortunate they pushed on you like that, though. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, TCG Player sided with me every single time.
Of course, yeah.
Because I'm a gold star.
Tommy rolls. Yeah. Tommy's always resealing his Pokemon.
Always. You know, I have time for that.
Yeah. Right.
And the ability to do that. But yeah, feels good to have that gone. There's space on the shelf again.
Yeah, that was my biggest, when I emptied out my shelf, I was like, I could see my walls.
And then Jillian goes, so what are you filling it with? I was like, probably more Magic.
She knows you so well.
Yeah. So I've been making a move into collector boxes, just kind of catching up from sets I've missed. The other move I made was Lord of the Rings set boxes. They seem to be slowly diminishing on TCG Player, and I don't know if they're still on allocation. Let me double check that. Draft is still available. Commanders are still available. Holiday Scene still available. No. Last week when we were looking, I think there was a limit 1 on the set boxes.
Now they're just gone.
Now they're gone. Limit 1 case. Limit 1 case.
It's happening, Tommy. It's happening.
I mean, if you look at it on TCG Player, like, it's averaging selling 7 a day. There's 81 listed, if there aren't more. So, like, where do you... Because I think Lord of the Rings cards will be in demand for a long time. Depends on, do they do another reprint? Because we found, I think it was last week, we found that they only have the license through the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see if we have another reprint this year. But with
the last wave.
But with all maybe on the Commander boxes?
They could do a full, like, the play and set and all that if they want to, kind of mid-year as a final push to make money on the IP.
But are they going to be fighting to keep up demand for like the Bloomburrow and the Dustmorn? Because those play boxes are getting hard to find.
Yeah, the real question is it something they want to do with printer queues and all the rest? And
because it's slow demand for Lord of the Rings right now. Like 7 a day, I don't think is huge.
Yeah.
But with the current quantity.
And the prices aren't too out of control, so
no.
reprinting is not necessarily going to earn them any favors, right?
No, and with them focusing on standard and this not being a standard set.
Yeah. So chances are slim.
But I don't know. I needed to make sure I had my Lord of the Rings stuff that I promised myself I would have. But
do you want to chat about Fab?
Yeah. Pre-release was this weekend, The Hunted. There is a couple discussions going on in Fab right now. One, MSRP increased, for which MSRP and map increased. Map is $100. MSRP is $120 for Fab boxes now, which has an effect on pre-release prices. So just going to your pre-release is more expensive now.
That part sucks.
Yeah. But at least at my locals, from what I saw, I wasn't able to make it, unfortunately. But there were some pretty big pulls, and there's some pretty big hits. Like that Command and Conquer is making waves in the market. There's two different sides. One, don't take my reprint, don't bring down the price of my cards, but also it's Command and Conquer. And it's a very highly playable card, so I don't know.
How much does it really come down?
It hasn't.
Well, exactly. That's the point. Like, especially when it's a specialty one, right? Like, that's not a common pool, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah. So, yeah, I
Just
feel
like
we've seen this before with the other fancy Command and Conquer. Like, it really didn't affect the market price of the standard one.
Yeah, like the standard one came down $10, $16, 106 to
it won't stay down. If it's like
90?
Before, it won't stay down. It did the same thing. It dropped like to 80 for a week too, and then it was back to 100.
Yeah,
like it's because they don't print. It's not that many extra in the market, and there is high demand.
Like and I could see players selling their Command and Conquers and getting a playset of the new ones. And the other difference is the Command and Conquer in this set is in the legendary slot. It is not in the majestic slot.
Yeah.
So it's a legendary pool. It's not which, I mean, are obviously way less common than majestics, but I don't know. Very interesting. I do see Fab is getting really expensive to play, deck-wise. Not that it hasn't always been, but...
Yeah, but if they're trying to be the competitive game, which they are, and they're very good at, I feel like that's where it will inevitably lead. That's just how that is.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Always has been. Every game. Every game that has a really strong circuit, that happens every time.
Yeah. And it's a good circuit.
It also helps for, players that win cards to be able to sell them for a nice price and all the rest of it. There's typically positive reinforced economics involved.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, I think
that is wild. I'm just
really
flipping through it. There's some wild stuff in here.
There's some crazy marvels.
Yeah.
Like Shelter from the Storm.
Yeah.
Defense reaction, block 4, instant, discard this. The next 3 times you'd be dealt damage this turn, prevent 1 of that damage. It's just sync a little bit better.
Yeah. Did you see the blood drop? The dragon blood?
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's wild. I have seen...
Okay. Spit it out.
Would you buy these for $80?
What is
Haunted booster boxes?
Would I? I wouldn't. because I'm not buying Fab anymore.
Right.
Should someone else? I don't know. I don't think Fab is really a shelfable product.
No.
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
I will change my opinion on that when Crucible of War and Arcane Rising and WTR boxes go up.
It's past 100.
Yeah, like past their kind of where they've rested since the bubble popped. Because they basically all came down right after the bubble and they have not recovered. Until they recover, I don't believe in a long-term sealed position being a strong situation economically because we just don't know yet. It doesn't have the proof points of the Nike check, the buy a box, it will go up eventually thing. We don't have the proof yet.
Right. And now you
some sets have done that, but I feel like because they're newer, there's a fair high probability they go back down because the way the game cycles into new stuff.
Yeah. But these new boxes, the map is higher than those old boxes are priced at now.
Yeah, and the print runs are lower though, so there's there's a lot of bouncing factors. That's where it's like we just don't have the data.
We don't know.
We don't have the answer right now.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see. There's a couple stores online. You can, if you Google for it, I'm sure you'll find it. Don't want to call them out, but is this maybe around not up to policy? But they're giving a $20 gift card when you buy a box. So 4 boxes, you get a $100 gift card. So
they basically say the demand's at $80.
Yeah,
essentially that's their way around it. Got it.
But at the same time, we're seeing that I know what aren't they doing? They're doing like a wave thing, so it's not all going to be out at once, which makes sense, and I agree with. They should do that. But I'm glad LSS is kind of still stuck with that. They're controlling of how much product gets out there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously made a change. The last couple of sets have done really well. I mean, our local scene is bigger than ever. I just have not been a part of it. So, but I see it grow in our Discord. So it's fun.
Yeah. And they picked up where Modern left off. I think a lot of Modern players.
Honestly, yeah. So I think that's just kind of the path. Like it's, you get into Magic, you get into Standard, you get into Modern, you go somewhere else.
Then you come back. Well, especially if it's stale, which apparently Modern had gotten really stale before the bans.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, interesting stuff. Yep. Interesting times.
Pretty neat.
Yeah. Anything else before we wrap this up?
I got nothing.
Cool. Well, until next week, we'll catch you guys later.
Have a good one.